If you have used Ecamm Live to do live streaming and you use Keynote to do a presentation, I want to give you a simple resource that helps you when you're making record-only videos with those two things together. For my setup today, I have Keynote running on my Mac, playing a slideshow in a window, and I have Ecamm Live up and running in record-only mode to kind of show you how this all works today. And so what I've done is created a series of slides in Keynote that help you lay out your presentation that work along with scenes that you set up in Ecamm. While this sounds like a foreign language to you, I have a link below for Ecamm Live Academy and some videos on YouTube from Adrian that really walk you through the basics of using this great tool for live streaming and for recording videos. Now here, right now what you're seeing is a scene in Ecamm that's just my camera. That's all it is. And in my Keynote slide deck, I have a slide that looks like this. Pretty strange, maybe, just to look at that, but it's a gray background, a blue profile. When I look at that in my slide deck, that lets me know that at that part of the presentation, I plan on being full screen. Now remember, Ecamm Live is great for live streaming, but I'm setting up a tool to help you out for record-only mode. So when you want to record a video, edit it, and then upload it to YouTube or some kind of training setup. So in that situation, you can pause and stop and look down and do some things you wouldn't normally want to do in a live video. This one is a Keynote slide. So that's one I want to use that's going to be a full screen Keynote, and for whatever reason, whatever's on that slide, I don't want to be on there at all. That's unusual. I usually want to be on the slide in some way, but if I'm going to do something that's a full Keynote slide, that's what that slide reminds me of in the presentation. Now there's a bunch of them like this. This is what I would call my Keynote Right 2/3. And so this is when I want to be on screen, but I've got something that I want to put up here that's a big word, a phrase, an image, something's going to take up 2/3 of the screen. And so it's going to be on the screen like this. In my slide deck, those red lines are there just to kind of help keep me from going too close to the edges. It also helps me when I've got it open in Keynote or in Ecamm Live to see where the borders are. And that kind of it works great for sharing information. I can also flip it around, and now I have it where I'm on the right side of the screen, the Keynote stuff was on the left. When I'm doing a record-only video, I'm very mindful that I don't want to be in the same spot the whole time on a video. If I'm doing a live stream, I might want that for simplicity's sake, but I know that changing things up helps keep people's attention, and so being able to flip from the left to the right side is not a big deal when you're doing a record-only. I don't have to worry about looking down at like where those keys are. I can say what I want to say and stop. And I can even use this blank key I have to give me a black spot to visually mark where I'm changing scenes, and then open back up in Keynote and be ready to go. And then I have these, which is when I want to take up 2/3 of the screen and the slide is only going to take up 1/3. I might put a number up there, I might put a vertical image, I might put something that's just really short and simple, but again, I want to take up the majority of the screen, and I still want something to be on the slide with me, and so I use that, and again, I can flip that and make it where now I'm on the right side and the slide is on the left, and that slide in my Keynote deck helps me kind of know where to place things so that when I open it up and I'm playing the slide, that I'm ready to go on screen. Now there's also times where I want to use the majority of the screen to be Keynote, but I want to appear in like a picture-in-picture. So we'll use a camera overlay for that, and I have 4 slides real simply set up for top and bottom, left and right. So the first one here is this top left corner, where again, I'm now using a camera overlay and changing it to a circle with a little bit of a border. When I make this Keynote slide, that image just kind of stays and floats on top, and whatever I make on the slide goes underneath of that. And when I display it, I know that my camera overlay is going to cover that up. And again, I said I got it set up for all 4 corners. So over here is the top right, same kind of thing. Here's your bottom left, and there's your bottom right. And that's your 4 picture-in-picture setup here with Keynote and Ecamm Live. Now, I've made all this a lot easier for myself using Stream Deck. So on this top left area, that's the one that's just full screen. That's just me, full camera going on. The top right one over here is the blackout. That's the blank screen. Just black, nothing going on there. And so even in a record-only mode, those are 2 that I can have my hand resting on my Stream Deck, in between my pinky and my index finger, I can easily go back and forth and use those, and even slide over and go into Keynote mode where I can show the full presentation from these keys on the Stream Deck. Now, these four here are the 2/3 Keynote Right, 2/3 Keynote Left, and then 2/3 me right and 2/3 me left. And then over here, of course, you have your 4 picture-in-picture. When I'm recording a video, sometimes I get interrupted, right? There's some things that you can avoid with Do Not Disturb. Sometimes things happen. And so I've got that pause button there where I don't have to like shut everything down or hit quit or have this long, weird gap in the recording. I can just hit pause, take care of what I need to, and come back to finish recording that video. It's not a live, so you can be interrupted, and that's a helpful feature to have a button for. And then of course you have your record and finish button there on the bottom. These 2 keys are gold. These come from the Keynote setup. There's not very many buttons option for it in Stream Deck, but these 2 allow you to advance back and forth without having to switch from Ecamm to Keynote and back. While I'm in Ecamm, these buttons allow me to advance the slides in that presentation. And now you can have it open different ways. Like while I'm doing this, I have the presenter controls and an extended desktop on my iPad, but you can also have this just be able to use these keys and go forward from slide to slide. Because when you're record only mode, if you go the wrong way or have something happen, you can kind of stop and re-record. I have noticed that it works great going forward, but when I've tried to back up a slide, all of a sudden it kicks me out of Ecamm and puts me over to Keynote, and then sometimes a slide will pop up on top of what I'm trying to do, and I have to stop and then kind of reset things. So not sure why that happens, but going forward, it works great. Here's what I'm doing today, and this has been helpful for me. If this is helpful for you, I want to provide you with a resource. It's real simple. You just hop on in the link below, and you give me an email address, and then I'll send you a link to be able to download the Keynote template, the Keynote slide deck that has all these on there for you. It has the Ecamm Live profile, so it's got all these scenes pre-built that match the slides that you make in Keynote. It also has the 15 key profile for Stream Deck, so if you're using a Stream Deck, you can download those and plug them right in, and it'll all work with Ecamm and with Keynote. Might probably make it a little bit of a tweak because your camera's gonna be different than mine, your setup may be a little different, but the majority of it's ready to go for you. And then I've even given you a Keynote file that has those Stream Deck keys in case you want to go in and customize them, change the color, do something different for yours. That's all a part of that file. All those resources are free when you follow that link in the video description and just put in an email address. Tell me what you're using it for, and let me know if you have any questions or something you'd like to see in a future Ecamm or Keynote video. That's it for today. Hope this is helpful for you. This is a little peek behind the scenes of how I do my record-only videos. And if you're using Ecamm Live and Keynote or interested in that, that's a great way to do some of those, whether you are teaching or doing some kind of training. If you're not familiar with Ecamm or Keynote, I've got links to those in the video description below. Thanks so much. If you got some ideas or questions, leave a comment. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.